Right, there's growth chamber number 1. Pass it back. Our opponent's letting us ramp for free. We don't have to bounce a land. Isn't that so nice of them? Alright, guys. We are here. You already know what's up. This is the 5th and final match of our league, and we are currently undefeated, 4-0. And yeah, let's hope we can get this trophy. It's been long overdue, but no pressure, no pressure. If we end up 4-1 at the end of this, at least we've gained some value, some entertainment, enjoyment, and some information as well. Hopefully you've learned something from this league. And I will have some thoughts about the deck list at the end of the video, so if you're interested in that, then stick around until the very end. Yeah, let's just jump in here and get in this match. Alright, let's hop on in here. On the draw. Finally, playing against Caledon. Don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. We get a turn 1 Impulse, and if we find an untapped source, we can play turn 2 Explore, and if we don't, we play Growth Chamber and have turn 3 Dryad, so I do think we keep this. We're on the draw as well, so we have a couple shots at finding a land source for turn 2 here. Opponent's on Foothills, Basic Forest, Arbor Elf, Utopia Sprawl. Yeah, this is probably not good for us. This is either Ponza or Green-White Heliod. There's our untapped source, actually, so that's pretty good. I mean, we might have a chance just slamming Dryad and getting to Titan. Speaking of Titan, we have the option to take that one. No land, which is actually what we were looking for, but definitely not having to pack for our Titan is going to be better than having to pack for it. Maybe we'll find another bounce land off this Explore. Or an Amulet as well would be fantastic. Amulet would give us a turn 4 Titan with Valakut triggers. Alright, we see a mountain, so this is Ponza instead. Seasoned Pyromancer. Way better for us than our opponent having Blood Moon, of course. See what they pitch. Bolt and a Tranquil Thicket. Alright, so better matchup for us than Green-White Heliod, probably. We can Grazer out a land here, or we can just explore. I think just exploring is better. Getting a card deeper. Using all of our mana efficiently. There's... Ooh, the Amulet actually makes me inclined not to leave this Growth Chamber in play. I'm gonna hold on to it. Maybe our opponent thinks it's a misclick. Suppose playing it would technically have been a misclick, quote-unquote, because we'd rather our opponent not know that we actually have the bounce land ready to go. I don't know if we can play both Dryads. We can definitely get one to play. I think we can play both. Ooh, actually, play this 2, 3, 4, down to 1, 3. Yeah, we can't get Titan. Let's see, what if we pack for Azusa? We go Amulet, 2, 3 mana floating, Azusa, land, Grazer. We'd be 1 short for Azusa getting us to Titan off of the Summoner's Pact. So let's just pour a couple of Dryad of the Elysian Groves into play. We'll yield. Let's see, it's 2. What if we pack for a Grazer? 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, no, that's not going to work either. It's alright. Yeah, let's Grazer out. And I think we keep this other Grazer in reserve to make sure that we get to put our Titan into play here. If our Dryads happen to die somehow or something. We could always choose not to play the second Dryad as well, so we have a way to play around Blood Moon if our opponent does top deck it. I don't know how interested I am in that. Given that we're so far away from getting to Titan mana naturally anyways, we'd need to top deck 4 more lands. So I don't know if I want to play around that at all. Interesting scenario that we find ourselves in. Yeah, I think getting the other Dryad into play is probably worth it. If our opponent plays a Blood Moon, we'll basically just lose, but I'm fine with that outcome. Play this, a Grazer. Second Dryad incoming. Just playing Amulet Storm over here. No big deal, no big deal. It's definitely my favorite archetype. And no reason to play Growth Chamber again here for no effect, so just pass it back. We can play Growth Chamber twice and then float with the Forest and pick up and play the Forest to leave 2 lands in play, get Crumbling Vestige and Haste Land, and then attack and get double Valakut, and be able to get Valakut triggers here if our opponent doesn't Blood Moon us. So we do have 3 land drops, so that all does work. And then post-combat, actually we could get Valakut and Vesuva, And post-combat, oh, they pillage our amulet. Well, that really sucks. Amulet off the top is what we need. Amulet off the top. Let's go. This is an odd set of attacks. I mean, I'm taking these blocks every day. Especially without amulet. I mean, these dryads aren't doing a whole lot more than representing bodies or blockers here. I assume we're going to get one of these guys bolted. Yep. Doesn't matter which. Alright. Amulet. Sua. Well, that one will allow us to copy Basic Forest. Definitely choosing our own Basic Forest and not our opponent's. It's just way better. And I'm not going to sit on my heels here waiting for an amulet. Instead, I'm just going to play out all of our land drops. Next turn, if we top deck a Garen Brig, we can cast Titan. So there's that. And again, we're still hoping to fade a Blood Moon from our opponent, but now that they have no board state, and we do have double basic land in play, thanks to the Vesuva, since it will remain a forest if they play Blood Moon, we actually have a bit of a game that we can play here against the Blood Moon. Chandra Torture Defiance to kill Dryad is mildly annoying. Means we can't Titan this turn with the Garen Brig, but we can 2 turns from now. Grazer, not doing a whole lot. And we'll play our land here. No sense in pacting, I don't think, so let's just top deck this Garen Brig. Like we always had it. No big deal. Our opponent's pillage hitting our amulet was insanely good for them there. I think we would have won for sure if they didn't have that. I guess, or a Blood Moon, of course. They exile the top card. It's a Seasoned Pyro. We don't care about that one very much. Of course, they're going to cast it to try to find that Blood Moon. We need to find this Garen Brig right now. And we do play 4, if I'm not mistaken. Let me go check. 3 Garen Brigs. Only 3. Alright, we need one of those 3 Garen Brigs off the top right now. 3 and 46 cards. Don't know what the odds of that are. Titan. Not really doing a whole lot here. I guess we just pass it back. Bolter Grazer, you got it. Opponent's trying to get the clock beat down here. They find a Blood Moon. Alright. I mean, probably can go ahead and scoop this one up. I don't think it's too early at all. Yeah, I'm just going to scoop if they do cast the Blood Moon here. Alright, we're done. It was fun while it lasted. We know when we've been bested. Alright, we want the explosives, of course. We want the forces. Very thankful they're in the sideboard here for this matchup. Beast Withins and Rex Sage probably. Not super big on Beast Within, but I feel like we do need it. Tracker seems pretty good here also. I don't know about 3, because they do die to bolts and, like, stomps and stuff from our opponent. Dismember is looking very good here too. Also happen to hit Magus on the Moon if our opponent has it. Grazers are not the best. They're not terrible for playing a turn 2 3-drop, but I feel like shaving on those is fine. Cut 1 Summoner's Pact. Bog's irrelevant. Cavern is pretty irrelevant. Explore's a little slow, but it's not bad, actually. I'm going to trim a couple. Maybe come back and trim some more of those, actually. I'm going to get rid of the Grazers entirely, as if we just accelerate out a Dryad and our opponent Blood Moons us, then it cuts off all of our mana anyways. From 1 more Summoner's Pact. Don't want to get blown out by our own Summoner's Pact killing us if we can't pay for it. What else? Maybe Tracker is just not that great here. I feel like I want a couple, though. Let's trim the Explorers. We're going very top-heavy here. Or I guess, more accurately, very interactive with things like Dismember and whatnot. Need to cut 1 more card. I guess it's just the Beast Within. I'm not in love with it in this matchup. It does give our opponent the threat to beat us with. So, let's go with only 1 copy of Beast Within for when we really need it. Be on the play, of course. All Landers, a mulligan. Sand's not fantastic either. We can't even cast Impulse on 1. Yeah, I don't know about this one either. I kind of feel like we should go to 5. Not sure how easily we'll be able to win on 5, though. Our opponent's choosing whether or not to keep their 7, it looks like. I don't know. Not looking very great for our 5th match here. We were trying to get this 5-0, but you just get paired against Ponza, and they play turn 2 Blood Moon, and what could you do? If we were to keep this, what can we even draw? I don't know. Our opponent keeps their 7. They deliberated it for a while, which makes me think there may not be a Blood Moon incoming very soon. I could be wrong on that. This is just really not good, though. We're not casting anything until turn 3, unless we Ghost Quarter ourselves, and that just doesn't sound appetizing at all. I'm gonna mulligan. I guess we're just gonna keep and hope to find a billion lands. Like, this is not great either. Can we mulligan and try to get a 4-card hand with, like, land, bounce land, amulet, something? Is that better than keeping this 5? We don't even have a green land. We can play Impulse on one, and if we miss on a green land, then we can only cast Dismembers. We might be able to buy enough time with the Dismembers to get to our land drops here. And if we find Amulet plus Bounce Land off the top, then we have a bit of a chance. Yeah, I think we have to keep this. It's just kind of close, though. I kind of want to just try to mull into the nuts here, but I don't know. Let me know in the comments. Would you keep this hand or not? Seems really lackluster to me. I'm not going to lie. We're going to keep and hope that this Impulse is good. We'll bottom the Summoner's Pact, of course. Maybe even the Titan. Just have to top deck here. Is 2 Dismembers too many? Do we want 1 less Dismember? I feel like we do. Get rid of the Pact and 1 Dismember. Sure. Alright. Vestige into Adventurous Impulse and hope to find something good. Anything good. We have either Bounce Land or Forest. Given the state of our hand, I think we need the Bounce Land. Forest would be nice to play around Blood Moon, but we just need to find as many lands as possible, and this represents 2 additional lands, basically, so... Does let us cast Tracker on turn 3 as well. Play an Arbor Elf. Thank you. Thank you. Alright. We will definitely dismember this one. And then we'll Garrison and pick up their Vestige, and I guess play Dryad on turn 3 instead of the Tracker, so we can fix our mana. I mean, we're doing things, I guess. Our opponent has no second land drop? Oh, that's just too good. That is just too good. Alright, I'm slamming Dryad here. You can't stop me. Pass it back. Whew. Alright, miss on second land again, please. Just don't find it. Oh, they missed again! Oh, we have a chance! I can't believe we actually have a chance. Are we playing Tracker here, or are we impulsing for a land? I feel like Tracker's just better, right? Get a threat into play. Yeah, I think that Tracker is better here, as if we do find land drops to play this upcoming turn, we can get clues off of the Tracker and even impulse into a land here, and it lets us put a clock on our opponent while they're stuck on lands, so... Well, I didn't think our opponent having a sketch hand was the way we were going to get out of this, but there's a Windswept Heath for extra clue action. Alright, let's start by casting this Impulse. Alright, Castle Garenbrig is a good one. Any order of those guys. Play Fetch Land, trigger. And I'm going to go ahead and crack the clue and see if we find another land drop here that is not Garenbrig, since Garenbrig enters untapped with our Dryad, and let's cast Titan, so Impulse. Let's fetch for Basic Forest and cast that one, too. Again, we're looking for any land that's not Garenbrig to play here. Yep, another Basic Forest is actually fantastic, so any order of those guys, play our other Forest here. We have Guaranteed Titan this upcoming turn, and I think we might just be in the clear. Yep. Fetching here to get the clue, as the clue may be very relevant. See if our opponent can get back from this with their... They just go ahead and scoop it up. Alright, well... admittedly, I don't think what we did there mattered a whole lot with our opponent stuck on one land. I guess that was what they were deliberating. Dismember looking great there. Yeah, I don't think we changed anything. Tracker was looking very good there, too. Yeah, let's just run it back. Alright, let's not mold 5 this time, please. We have Explosives. No basic land, but we have all the mana in the world and a Tireless Tracker, which is of debatable use, but I think we keep this. Our opponent leads on a 1-drop, of course. We don't have the Dismember this time. Utopia Sprawl. All right. Don't know if we play out the explosives here. Feel like we probably don't. Force of Vigor is actually quite nice. All right, let's play a tapped Brig, I suppose. Now, let's play the tapped breeding pool. We'll play an explosives on one and blow it up all in the same turn, so our opponent puts everything they have onto the battlefield. If we do have to cast this force pitching tracker, it's a sacrifice I'm willing to make. Looks like we may have to do that. Let's get a couple Simic Growth Chambers into play before we do that, however. Right, there's Growth Chamber number 1. Pass it back. Our opponent's letting us ramp for free. We don't have to bounce a land. Isn't that so nice of them? Alright, our opponent has committed a Seasoned Pyromancer. I guess we just let this go. Not sure whether we're supposed to force on our opponent's instep here so we can get a tracker in play and start triggering for clues. In doing so, we also get to cast the Impulse, so it's probably worth it. There's a elf. We can also just blow explosives on 1 here. I think just playing and blowing explosives is better. If our opponent has a second redundant Blood Moon, they might play it. And we get another free Growth Chamber in play. I'm going to do it. These are explosives. Let's just go ahead and blow it up now, I suppose. So they can't get something crazy like a Glorybringer in play. Then we'll force pitching, I guess, the Impulse. If we top deck a Titan, we'll just play that. And if we don't, then we'll play a Tracker and play a land and get a clue and get a card and a pillage. Yeah. That's not great for us, but that's okay. Opponent's on 1 card left. Yeah, I don't think we gain anything else from holding this force. I guess it insulates us from a second Blood Moon, but I think it's time to start casting spells, so let's force this Blood Moon, pitching our Impulse. Tracker's definitely better than Impulse here, I would think. Alright. Colony Garden is actually fantastic, giving us a blocker and a tap land to get out of the way after we play our Tracker here. Nice one. Right, pass it back. We can play Titan next turn if we draw it. Assuming our opponent doesn't have a Blood Moon they've been holding on to this whole time. They very well might. They have 1 card they haven't played yet, so maybe it's a Dismember. Who knows? They did fetch a basic, so that just seems like the naturally correct thing to do. It might have been a land that they were holding. Oh, they're fetching. Not great for us. Maybe it is Glorybringer like we were theorizing before. Yep, Glorybringer has hit the table. 5 mana, 4/4, flying haste. You may exert it as it attacks. If you do, it deals 4 damage to target non-dragon creature an opponent controls. Tireless Tracker is not long for this world. At least it's not going to untap. Right, we need Titan off the top. What we want. I'm just going to go ahead and take a block here, too. I don't feel like taking the extra damage. Titan. That's not Titan. I guess we draw here, leaving the blue in case we need to transmute Talari West. Beast Within. That does hit a Glorybringer. Do we want to cast it? That's kind of hard to answer because that gives our opponent an additional 3 power attacker here. So we'd be taking 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 down to 3, and then we're just dead to a bolt. So I think we're not supposed to cast the Beast Within here. I guess we're putting the Growth Chamber into play and picking up the Colony for an extra blocker. If we don't draw anything relevant next turn, then we can Beast Within and play Colony for a chump blocker. And yeah, I don't know. Rather take 4 here than 7. I think that makes logical sense. Azusa. Right, we can play Azusa and Beast Within and Colony all in the same turn here, so let's start by playing out a land drop. Let's play the Azusa. We'll play a Brig and Brig, I guess. And we'll hold up Beast Within for our opponent's pre-combat phase so we can get rid of this without taking an additional 3 damage. We still just need to top deck a Titan and to fade our opponent finding another Blood Moon, of course. We actually have a real shot this game, though. Seasoned Pyromancer. Yep, that one's fine. And they get to draw 2 cards here, discarding some lands. Forest, to be exact. Alright, yeah, we're not playing around them having another Blood Moon type effect, so let's get this Glorybringer out of play right about now. Titan off the top. Let's go. Primeval Titan is the card. Let's take our chump block while we can. Sure. Oh, we were supposed to block an elemental. That was so dumb. Why did I not? What are we playing around by not blocking there? Gut shot, I guess. If we end up losing by 1 point of damage, I'm going to be a little mad at myself, not going to lie. Let's see. Tolaria West lets us cast Titan. Summoner's Pact or Titan lets us cast Titan. We could even Impulse into a Titan, perhaps, if we drew that. We have very many live draws here. Tracker and Clue gives us a blocker. Yeah, that not blocking the elemental might actually be very relevant. Man. Explosives on 0 lets us survive an additional turn here if our opponent doesn't have a bolt effect. Alright, we just want Titan off the top. It really is that simple. Primeval Titan off the top. Please, deck. We need it desperately. It's the easiest way to win this game. Just getting Radiant Fountain and a bounce land, probably. That's not a Titan. Deck. No. Now we're just literally dead. If we had blocked, we could block here and take 1, 2, 3... No, wait, we could block here and take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and still be dead, so the 1 point didn't matter in that scenario. Yeah, I mean, let's just show our opponent the 2 lands that we've got, and scoop it up. So close. Ended up 4-1. That is still decent in my opinion. I mean, we gotta ask the age-old question. Would we have drawn the Titan? Growth Chamber, Primeval Titan, 2 down. That's alright, we weren't going to survive 1 extra turn, so we were not fated to draw the Titan there. That close top deck war in the last match ended up making us 4-1 instead of 5-0, but that's alright. So let's talk a little bit about the deck list. First of all, do I think that Adventurous Impulse is a horrendous, unplayable card like the rest of the Amulet community has seemed to agree upon? No, obviously I don't. I mean, I know it's a biased opinion based on results from this league and the several leagues I played before this, but so far I haven't done worse than 3-2 with Adventurous Impulse in my deck, and that was very nearly a 5-0. We just needed that little tiny sprinkle of luck that most people do need to make a 5-0, and couldn't get there. But Adventurous Impulse is one of those cards where it's extremely subtle. I can't quite put my finger on whether this card is clunky by a little bit or powerful enough by a little bit. It's like when Ancient Stirrings wins you the game, it's really obvious because you Stirrings and you find the bounce land that you needed and it was good. And you look 5 cards deep and Stirrings like never misses. Impulse is like, it doesn't always find you what you need, but a lot of times what it finds you is something useful. The number of times where I impulsed into a random land and it ended up being relevant that we had the land, or impulsed into a Grazer when I was anticipating impulsing into a Titan, but the Grazer let us ramp into a 3-drop on turn 2, no, on turn 3 instead, and do some other things, and like block. Like, Impulse is more relevant, surprisingly, than it seems. I feel like it does more than it seems like it does. Just on the surface. That said, I'm not sure that playing Impulse is better than just playing an additional couple copies of Azusa, for example. Or like playing a 3rd Tolaria West in the main to have more consistent Titans. Like, that's what makes it so difficult to evaluate the card. Because I feel like it's not so obviously powerful that you should be including it. But it's also not so obviously underwhelming, in my opinion, that you should not be playing it. So, if you happen to be a fan of Adventurous Impulse yourself, then I do highly suggest that you play it. After this 4-1, I was 7-3, so that means that overall I am now 11-4 with the list, which is quite a good record, I must say. And Yeah, we didn't play against any of the matchups where Kozilek would have been relevant. Somehow we've been managing to dodge Control decks and the green-white combo infinite life decks where you can just deck your opponent after annihilating away their board by killing Kozilek and recurring it, killing it with Dryad triggers and Valakut's, of course. That's one of the reasons behind including it, but also because it's relevant against Control, and we never got to use it, which is kind of sad. The trackers, in my opinion, way overperformed. I still, like always, I'm not sure whether 3 trackers is better than 2 or not. I feel like it probably is, just because I like seeing the card, but Force of Vigors were great in the match that we just played, and definitely gave us outs there that we would not have had without them. I think Force is pretty good. Dismember, I'm a little low on Dismember right now. It's like kind of an expensive effect. 4 life is a lot, and a lot of the things that you would want to remove are very aggressive statted creatures, like, Swift Spears and whatnot, where you don't even bring in Dismember, so as far as that's concerned, I'm not sure that Dismember is great. I could see maybe trimming a Dismember for a Baloth, just to have something extra for those aggressive matchups, as I do think Baloth is something that is a little bit missed. We could also definitely use a 4th Garenbrig, in my opinion. I don't know what I would cut for it, though. Anyways, yeah, I don't have a whole lot to say about this list. To be honest, I feel like if I just jam this in another league, that would be just fine, just like it has been the past couple times, so this might be one of my stock rotation lists going forward. I do like the Impulse tech, and let me know what you think. I will see you guys in the next league. This is Redface Menace, signing off.